is underway. Newkirk Precinct is the map. Let's go ahead and hop to it. And here we are on Newkirk Precinct, because we don't need no stinking map intro. Spawning down in the bottom right-hand corner of the map. The Red Zerg player up 1-0. It is Evil Genius's Jaedong. And, of course, his opponent on the other side of things, being scouted, the Blue Terran player, Axiom Ryung.
A very bluish background as well. Everything is blue in Ryung's picture. Very quick scout here by Jaedong. I guess just wants to double check, make sure that he doesn't get 11-11 or something. He could of course count the amount of SCVs that were working, and it's going to be a command center first opening once more for Ryung. Seems pretty much to be his go-to build. Every single game that I've seen of him in the last month, he's almost opening CC first. Which I'm curious to see if Jaedong is going to go double hatchery before spawning pool. He didn't do it on Belcher. I'm not sure if he would do it here.
Well, he scouts it much faster this time, so well, he takes the extractor, so I don't think that's what's going to happen at all. So Jaedong's just going to stick with what worked last time. Although I wonder if he'll again be crazy aggressive.
You know, like he was going up to third hatcheries, but it means so little these days when Zerg do it. Like, this is a good old Roach Baneling boss. It seems like so predictable, or it seems like so easy to scout that Terran players or Zerg players in general just try to make it a lot harder actually to identify that kind of build. And it gets harder and harder for Terran to scout when everything seems so normal. Alright, my opponent is going into macro play. And even when you see 3-4 roaches, you know, those could just be defensive roaches to deal with Hellions or any sort of weird aggression in that phase of the game. So it is really hard to identify the fact you're playing against a build like that, but I do not think that Jaedong is going to do the same thing again. This is not Belcher. It would be a little bit harder to boss as well up this little ramp. So I think we're going to see a much longer game this time, Ben, and actually see Ryung really play the style that he probably wants to play.
Yeah, what we've learned about Ryung is that when he's able to sit back and do what he wants, he's incredibly hard to beat. But Jaedong didn't let that really get going on Belcher Vestige. He said, nope, you're going to do it my way. You're going to have to deal with the kind of crazy aggression, and we'll see how it pans out.
We saw Ryung play against Nesty on Newkirk as well, where he opened up with 6 to 8 Hellions and Cloaked Banshees. That was kind of cool to see, because that's an opening that used to be very, very popular roughly, 16 months ago in Wings of Liberty. That was like kind of a go-to opening for Terran for a little bit. Then it kind of fell out of fashion, but now of course with the recent change to Cloaked Banshees, in case you guys missed it, it's a little cheaper right now. It becomes a little more viable again, and can get really tricky for a Zerg player to react properly to it. Certainly if you go up to 3 bases quick, that means that you're going to have to worry about detection at 3 different bases, and you're still going to have to worry about those Hellions running by as well. Cloak
is definitely making a little bit of a comeback. Well, like you said, it's cheaper, so that means it can come out just a little bit faster, but I think more importantly than that is it's just been out of the metagame for so long, as we see Jaedong losing an Overlord there. It's been out of the metagame for so long that Zergs has kind of stopped preparing for it. Now, I know I've lost a lot of ladder games to Cloak Banshees. I'm just like, oh my god, I can't believe I didn't scout this. Oh, I can't believe I didn't put a Spore Crawler down. But it's something that is showing up here and there from time to time once again. There's the third command center going down for Ryung, so he's once again going to try to play a big, heavy eco style.
Yeah, that was the same thing as he did against Detsy though. He still went for third command center really quick. Now he's getting a tech lab on this barracks as well, but looking at the position of the barracks, I do not think that he's going to use that tech lab later on for a starport, but we will see what he's going to do. Either way, we're going to see him at least opening up economic once more.
He does have a lot of gas, so wouldn't be surprised to see his starport go down maybe for some kind of crazy drop play. No, it's just going to go to stim.
No, it's going to go quick stim.
Yep.
All right.
So just very normal, very standard looking opening here from Ryung. I think it's so crazy that 3 CCs become standard. It's just like, well, I'm just going to build 3 command centers, and I'm going to have a great economy, and I dare you to do something about it. Ro16 does go down once more for Jaedong, and if we look at the worker tab, we see he's at 37 drones. Again, this is the exact same timing he used on Belcher Vestige. Exact same timing on that 3rd hatchery. So what are you up to, Jaedong?
That's 2 Overlords in production, but he can... Well, actually, that's going to be...
I think we're going to see the same thing, dude.
Nah. You really think he's going to do it again?
Maybe not exactly the same thing, but I think he's going to make us swallow roaches.
I think he's going to make like 4 just to be safe. Well,
6.
Double engineering bay going down in the main base for Ryung as well. It's definitely worth mentioning. So Ryung is looking to get a lot of upgrades going for him early on. 6 roaches, 8 links. Might just be a really big fake now as well, because if he goes to droning behind this, Ryung might completely overreact and throw down 3-4 bunkers, full SCVs, and then nothing is happening in the long run. Then again, Jaedong also has to worry about these Hellions. If he decides to march across the map, then he has nothing at home. He is going to droning behind this.
Yep, so you're exactly right, man. This is a great fake from Jaedong, and if I saw this, I would immediately be convinced, oh god, he's doing it again, as we see the 2 bunkers go down right away. One thing that Ryung is doing this time that he didn't do last time is he's just committing to his upgrades straight away.
I really love what Ryung is doing with these Hellions. He is not running back to his own base immediately. He's going to pick up these group 2 modes. He's going to pick up this queen as well, and now he's going to find a couple of these links. But most importantly, he did not chase those roaches, and that is what Ryung...
great control from Jaedong.
Don't lose his Hellions though. This queen could pick
wow,
up one more
Jaedong,
Hellion.
this is just awesome control, man. He's going to kill almost all of these Hellions. Maybe, yes, all of these Hellions. The queen does eventually go down, but Ryung loses all of his map control.
I don't like that, because now actually Ryung has a problem. Now he doesn't know if Jaedong is reinforcing this with units or not. So far, it's just a couple of roaches. And I still don't think that Jaedong is going to commit to this, but it's something that Ryung doesn't know, and he's not going to know either for a very, very long time.
Bunkers. He's got 3 bunkers, 4 bunkers in his natural, 1 bunker at the top of his ramp. He's ready to retreat. He's got so much money tied up in static D that he's never going to really need. So Jaedong has successfully said, "All right, Ryung, you better not get too greedy here." And Ryung's fallen for it.
I really love the fact that Ryung did not decide to pull those Hellions back, but I'm very sad in the way that he actually used them in the long run. Like, picking up that queen would have been awesome, and in the end he did get it, but, you know, Ben, at what cost? He lost so many Hellions, and he lost all his map control, and above all, he lost all his vision. So right now he just has no idea what's going on. He's probably thinking like, hey, if something would have came, it would have hit me by now, but still, this is just not a nice position to be in as a Terran player. You don't want to give away your Hellions that easy.
Man, I'm really surprised at how, in spite of what Ryung saw, he was still willing to constantly keep up his worker production, constantly add to his tech. And yeah, he took the bait, and he tied up some resources that maybe he didn't need to tie up. But I don't know that it's hurt him that much. He's 53 SCVs to 66 drones. Jaedong is going to make a little poke on this 3rd base, but Ryung looks like he might have enough. There's the big stim. There are no medevacs. That could be the real key here, as the Zerglings are going to get on top of these Marines and do a lot of damage, but man, just perfect control from Ryung. He's going to clean this up, no problem.
Yeah, Jaedong losing a handful of links over there and a couple of roaches as well. Not necessarily the end rule, but he's getting roach speed as well. 17 roaches right now. Is this a little bit of Hyun style?
This is exactly what I was thinking, man. This is precisely what Hyun did on this map against Center.
Yes.
Hyun versus Center, where Hyun just made so many roaches, Zerglings, and Banelings that it looked like he was fighting with 300 supply. It was a really awesome match, and if you guys missed it, you can check it out on the WCS YouTube, youtube.com/WCS StarCraft. Hyun versus Center on Newkirk Precinct was just an awesome demonstration of great Zerg macro. And Jaedong perhaps taking note of that, following in Hyun's footsteps in a way.
Only 66 drones though, and I do feel that Hyun was a little higher, and I felt like he was like at 80 and then just like kept sending units across the map because he was so rich. Jaedong basically doing this off 3 bases. That's a little less impressive. That also means that he cannot take very cost-ineffective fights.
Yeah, he's going to have to make sure that these roaches, he doesn't trade the roaches. He can trade the Zerglings and the Banelings, but he can't trade the roaches. As we do see him pushing Ryung back across the map. Ryung wants nothing to do with this big roach ball. He's going to retreat all the way back to his 3rd, where he is throwing up some bunkers. Behind these roaches, we see the Banelings rolling out, Kev, and Zergling reinforcements on the production tab, so a big attack is coming.
I'm not sure if this is going to work. It can definitely work. He's up like 27 army supply. He's morphing 11 Banelings though,
I think it's going to work,
it's going to be a lot. 2-2 is not going to finish up for Ryung, but he does have a little bit of a wall. He does get the medevacs. He has this backup wall. This is going to deal a lot of damage.
He's going to the natural? I can't believe this. I think he should just do the 3rd base thing, but instead he is going to try to break this ramp. There are some Widow Mines. There are some Widow Mines on the ground up behind the ramp, and a couple shots do go off, but Banelings still rolling through. Huge connections on those Banelings as Widow Mines and Marines die alike. And wow, Jaedong just made this look easy, Kev.
There are still so many Zerg units. Why is nothing dying then? A couple of these
It doesn't make sense, does it? This style is pretty overwhelming, and Ryung has been breached. Jaedong is in his 3rd. Jaedong is in his natural, and I don't know how you're supposed to hold that as Ryung is now in worlds of trouble. I guess a couple siege tanks are the real key, or more Widow Mines perhaps.
I think a combination of those two things would be very good. These Marines trying to kind of hold her. If Ryung is somehow able to regroup a little bit, he might be able to just hang on at least a little longer. These are not too many roaches. This is something that he should be able to deal with eventually. Has plenty of medevacs as well to make sure that he can keep those Marines at full HP, but how much damage did he take already?
I don't think there's any recovering from this position, Kev. He's had to lift his third base. He's lost all the workers there. He's losing tons of SCVs there. The natural ramp is Banelings are just rolling right up and connecting with singular groups of Marines, which is not what you want, but Jaedong can afford to do it because he's so incredibly far ahead. Lings streaming up into the main are going to are basically gonna confirm Ryung's fate here as SCVs aren't mining. He's got 0 income right now.
Man, Jaedong just playing this very swarmish style and just making a ridiculous amount of Zerg units and just going for it. Ryung's doing this very cute, making sure that his workers mess with the AI a little bit of those links, and eventually he's sort of like hanging in there a little bit. He just tried to drop 5 mules into his third base, but Jaedong is right now. Ryung is actually kind of defending.
Really cute Marine drop. So he does clean up those lings. The problem. But at what cost?
Yeah.
The ever
he lost over 50 workers.
The ever
52.
evolving joke of at what cost is it's a large cost. Kev, 74 drones to 22 SCVs. Mutas are on their way out. As if we look around the main base of Ryung, he has no anti-air. A turret here, a turret there, but that's really all that exists. There are 11 Marines on the map, and yeah, they have 1-1. Yeah, they have stim and combat shields.
And above all, his entire SimCity is really destroyed. He had a cute little wall over here with a lot of spider posts, had 1 or 2 bunkers to make his life a little easier to defend. He had a full wall off over here, and it was a strong one. Right now, everything is just so exposed. While we do see a medevac going out on the other side of the map, a couple of Marines being dropped as well. Jaedong just all over this as well. Jaedong looks very dominating, man.
Yeah, Jaedong looks fantastic. Up 140 supply against 60. Ryung is obviously not going to give up. This is WCS round of 16. This is a must-win match and a must-win group. One of these guys is going home today, but I feel like the outcome is so inevitable. Mutas are going to connect with this turret. That means a few more SCVs are going to go down, and this is so painful when you only have 20 workers against 80.
I love how the 3 overseers flying around as well. It's just like making very sure.
Overseers have so many eyes too, man. Every one of those little orange things is an eyeball. that's like 15 eyes looking for Widow Mines. But they haven't found any yet. All the Widow Mines hanging out in the third base. These Lings are going to run down. And
I must say, Ryung actually has a reasonable army supply, Ben. He has like 52. That's something.
Yeah. It's maybe enough to fight just the Mutas or just the Ling Bane. I don't know if it's enough to fight both, as we see Jaedong swarming in once again. A couple of good Baneling connections. Ryung always showing impeccable Marine control.
Oh, the orbital command is going to fall as well. That's, of course, a massive pickup here for Jaedong, so he doesn't have to worry about the economy anymore as well. And with